Good evening, my lovely learners. How are you this evening? Okay, with me, your tutor. I've come again to look at how questions are being phrased in the other section of Civic Education, and this is section A. So let us see and go through these few points that I've prepared for you. In fact, these are actually examination questions. So we want to see how they are being answered in this section also. Okay, so we can just start on the first question. So the question says, a symbol of Zambian citizenship is a green national registration card. So which is raised by National Registration Office or issued by the National Registration Office under Ministry of Who? So that is the question. So that's how they ask a question to section A. And this is a one-word answer. So in short here, they are saying which ministry is responsible of the registration of national registration card. Okay, the green nation registration card. So which ministry is responsible for that? So the answer I've already put there. The answer is Home Affairs. So Home Affairs is one of the ministries that is responsible for the issuance of green national registration card. Not only that, even a passport. Okay. So that is a ministry. That is the answer. And the one is getting 1 mark. Okay, once you just say Ministry of Home Affairs, you have a mark there according to the way the question was phrased. Then question 2, what type of corruption involves huge amounts of money that is usually practiced by high-ranking officials? So as you may be aware, there are different types of corruption. And now the corruption that involves huge amount of money, and this is usually practiced by high-ranking officials. This is called grand corruption. So when we say high-ranking officials, we are basically referring to government officials, people like ministers, permanent secretaries, directors in various ministries, ministers without portfolios, president, vice president, all those people. They are the people that this question is referring to, high-ranking officials. So the type of corruption that those people that I've mentioned practice is called grand corruption. So that is the answer. Again, you score another mark. Then you go to question number 3. Which Constitution Review Commission recommended the reintroduction of multi-party democracy? So we are talking about the Constitution Review Commission. Now, which one among them, which one recommended the reintroduction of multi-party democracy? Remember, at one point, our country had the one-party state under the leadership of our first Republican president, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda. Okay, now when this guy came in, Chiruba, okay, who happened to be the second president of our great nation, Zambia, he changed that. Okay, So he introduced the reintroduction, because this one was there before him. So on the way or along the way, Kenneth Kaunda decided to change so that he can rule this country for the rest of his life. Now, time came when that was reintroduction introduced. Now, which constitution review recommended that? It is the Mvunga Constitution Review Commission of 1991. Okay, Mvunga Constitution Review Commission of 1991. Okay, so that's the name of the commission review or constitution review that recommended the reintroduction of multi-party democracy. Okay, so this is the answer, and you have a 1 mark there. Then the other one, which is question number 4, the question says, if a person is aggrieved by any determination of the High Court, he or she may appear to the Supreme Court, provided their case is not frivolous and vexatious. Okay, so that is the answer now. If a person is aggrieved by any determination of the High Court, he or she may appeal to the Supreme Court, provided their case is not frivolous, that is frivolous and vicious. Okay, so that simply means if the person is not aggrieved, okay, by any determination of the High Court, that person may be the judgment of the verdict is not certifying the case, then that particular person is eligible to appear or to appeal to the Supreme Court, as long as their case is not frivolous and vicious. So frivolous and vicious, that is the answer. So when the case is not frivolous and vicious, the case can be taken to the Supreme Court for further hearing. Okay. Then question number 5, distinguish between the Interstate Succession Act and the State Succession Act. What's the difference between these two types of act? So the answer now, the Interstate Succession Act is an act that is used to share the property of the deceased who died without leaving a will or whose will has been nullified, while the State Act deals with the inheritance of property of a dead person who left a will. So you have seen the difference between the two. Okay, so that's a difference. In the State Succession Act, this is where people intend to share the property of the deceased who died without leaving a what? A will. Okay, or whose will has been nullified. While the State Act, this is deals with the inheritance of property of the dead person who left the will. So this is definitely goes to more especially the children, okay, because any reasonable person leaves a will, write a will before he or she dies, so that when he's no longer there, there will be no wrangles for the left families. Okay, so that's the difference which is between Interstate Succession Act and the State Succession Act. Then we can go to question number 6. Dash is a method of resolving a dispute in which the disputants present their case to an impartial third party who then makes a decision to for them. Okay, so that is arbitration. Arbitration is a method of resolving a dispute in which the disputants present their case to an impartial third party who then makes a decision for them. So that types of resolving a dispute is called arbitration. Okay, so that is the answer, arbitration. So where there is a dash there, you're supposed to put arbitration. Then question number 7, state two methods of planning. So we have 1 mark there. For this case, we have 2 marks because they are saying two methods of planning. State two methods of planning. So we have centralized planning and decentralized planning. Okay. So when we say this, centralized planning, if we are talking about government, we are actually referring to the central government. Okay, the planning that is done at that level. Then decentralized, this is the planning that is done at local level. Okay. Then 8, Mr. Kwenda bitterly complained that his son was buying cars, foreign furniture, imported cigarettes, and alcohol that was not necessary for the family. What was Mr. Kwenda referring to? Okay, so Mr. Kwenda, since he said what his son was buying was actually we are actually not necessary to the family. So meaning this son of his was buying luxury things or human ones. Okay, so here there are two, the human ones or luxury is different from the basic needs. So luxury or human ones, we are talking about things that you can live without. Okay, you can survive even if you don't have them. But when you talk of basic needs, these are things that you cannot live without. Okay, things like shelter, clothes, food. Okay, those are basic needs. So now this son of his was buying these things which were not necessary for the family. Hence, these were human wants or luxury. So that's the answer. Then number 9, question number 9. List end to civil and political rights. So that is where we are going to end for today. List end to civil and political rights. But for me, I've listed more than that so that you as a learner, you'll be able to choose the one that you are going to master, because you never know, the exam that you'll be writing, maybe they will ask you to list maybe 3 or 4. That's the reason why I've put 4. So the first one, we are saying to civil and political rights. There is the right to life, then the right to personal liberty, protection from torture and inhuman treatment, then protection of freedom of conscience. So these are some of the civil and political rights that every human being is entitled to. Thank you so very much for paying attention and understand. So this is the way you are supposed to answer examination questions. So by so doing, you have already scored 10 what? 10 marks. Thank you.